Alright, so back to where we were supposed to be. Indeed, closing in with a Song of the Elves sort of finale. And now I guess, yeah, the finale to the, not Meilyr, fuck. The, oh fuck it, the Elf series, and that's out of Biohazard and that, unlocking that Ardani teleport all those years ago. Indeed. So, I reckon I may as well get back to that little bit of the news. You know, actually, some just before I continue and that, because I want to touch on another thing in regards to Jagex fuck-ups, in regards to specific examples, and no doubt the words fun orb out to ring more than a few bells and that, you know, considering that even back in my Gielinor 635 days, way back in 2008, I want to say, yeah, fun orb. Oh, it was a bit of a beauty in that, you know, be able to sort of play all these nice little spin-off games and that. They were, usually they were based on something. I know, already the most popular one of the lot, Arcanus, was something akin to a Worm spin-off, but it wasn't half bad. And that, you know, like, no, would it be the same as Worms? Like, you know, in terms of quality, half and half. I feel like, I can't remember if the issue was it wasn't quite as expanded as it could be, but for the right funding it could be given more attention to, or maybe it was the performance of the servers not being, but I mean, I think all the servers had some sort of issue going on, so it's what on par for the usual Jagex stuff. But yeah, evidently it was something that they were willing to venture to at the time. But this was back then, it didn't have to be a big hit, you know. Back then things were different, and obviously since following with the collection of games that range from being not really that popular and not many people playing it, to actually something that could be holding its own, and that, i.e. Arcanus and that, that's something that could legitimately be its own thing. And I mean, just, I don't know if it's something it could either just be like a £20-30 kind of standalone thing that's much more expanded, you know, potential online kind of stuff, or you could say make it, I guess as part of a premium, that would be a bit of an interesting one, just kind of keep Fun Orb open, but add that sort of a, you know, if you pay this much more, say an extra £2-3, you'll get access to this, you know, as part of it, and, you know, do that way. Or you could buy it separate for, like, say, £4 or £5, so kind of that way, you know, you get both, you get a slightly cheaper kind of deal, that sort of thing. And also, I think, a couple of ones stand up in my mind right now is the, not Copperbeast, fuck off. Chronicle Runescape Legends, that card game that was, I guess some people compared to Hearthstone and other card-like games and that, though I don't know if the comparison was fully apt, but evidently the thing with Chronicle Runescape Legends that made it appealing was the whole, you know, you would stack your cards against your enemy, and that's part of their adventure, you know, attempt to kind of weaken them or give them debuffs and that, you know, as well as you try and get your own kind of positive cards, you know, like equipment, gear and all that, you know. So at the end, you'd all have various kind of weapons, armour, potions, you know, kind of food healing stuff. And then that would be used at the end to see who would become victorious. And I think all the characters had different like pros and cons in that, or at least pros anyway. And then you can kind of weigh it to your individual playing styles. It was actually quite interesting. And also, yeah, that venturing out an underground pass. Oh joy. Fun times, but yeah, generally speaking, as far as how the actual, you know, I'm going to say that, yeah, I've just noticed something here as well, and yeah, so just general, that's what the appeal was, but again, they just thought, I mean, this is well into the role, if it's not super success, it's a waste of time, and evidently it closed within a year and a bit. It was just, I mean, I remember fucking Total Biscuit covered it, and that was unusual. I was actually something that was quite surprising. You know, him actually covering a RuneScape-esque kind of game, and that's as close as he ever got to talking about it. And well, it was just one of those things he just didn't really give a damn about, which is highly unfortunate to say the least. But anywho, the last one I want to talk about specifically is indeed Ace of Spades. Yeah. Some called this Minecraft with rifles, and I suppose that comparison is quite apt, but it managed to be beyond just a mere rip-off or a clone. It managed to kind of build its own niche kind of thing, you know, like basically the original premise was that it's kind of akin to a World War I or II shooter, you know, like with just good old manual rifles and that, you know, like, you got kind of load like muskets and that. Think of that, but maybe a bit more modern, just slightly. You know, like strategically, it's not like you fucking running fucking automatic weapon blast or shotgun, you know, nothing like that. It was very strategic, so skill was far more of an element, you know, defensively you got to kind of do it, and also, unlike with others games, you know, the element of digging around and that, you know, kind of creating tunnels, or I don't know what they, it's not bunker. There's a certain term, I forget now, but, you know, you kind of create a small tunnel and that, going through it and that, or if you don't want to like, bother with that, you know, go and do it underground. You create sort of a temporary defensive platform that gives you an edge over a certain field that you can set up, and you'll be able to take on other people. You know, that kind of thing. I don't think it could really destroy it. Like, your pickaxe was slow as fuck, or grenades, which was a bit more destructive, but causes noise, you know, and yeah, you don't have a supply of them. So, yeah, it was quite strategic, and there was no, like, extra kind of health items, or anything. You just had to rely on pure skill and teamwork to really get things done. And yeah, it was actually quite nice, and you know, for I guess about a year and a half it ran independently, then Jagex was very interested in this indie project, and eventually, because the guy was in some critical financial circumstance, because he didn't want to pay up, you know, like pay, you know, people to, or not pay people, get people to pay for services, a la, you remember the Gower brothers, they had their own issues, but they actually took actions where he kind of had to be offered a deal to, for him to sell him the rights to it, you know, and everything he did. And so the downfall of Spades began, with them fucking about and not really getting the idea, you know. It's funny with developers, they could be talented programmers, but evidently, and that when it comes to game designers, it would be kind of shit. And it's even worse when they don't even get the original the original premise of the game they're trying to build. You know? Like, talent programmers means everyone runs fucking smoothly, it's all down, like, no bugs whatsoever, everything works as intended on their part. But if it's a boring game, or one that's frustrating to play in terms of mechanics, it's still crap. You know, that's what game design comes in. You avoid that. You make things, you know, fun or addictive can be its own thing, but also monetization mixing in. It's like, it's a bit problematic, as you can imagine, and that. So evidently, yeah, they tried that, and you know, it didn't go very far because I think they already knew by the time the first DLC came out, lots of people already quit, and by the time that came out, people were even more livid, and I think it was just, wouldn't be surprised if like a year down the road there's not even 1% of the actual base that was left when they first bought it. It's like, quite a poor purchase on Jagex then, but at least the guy who got it, you know, he probably got paid a few nice, I don't know, £5-10 million or something, you know. Not bad, not as quite as big as the Gower Brothers, of course, because it's a niche game, but still, you make what you can, I suppose. But anywho, back to the Mordrogue and Eevescape drama. So, I figured that with regards to his contentions with the PvP scene, and that he wants to bolster it, you know, get Jagex to really get on board with his vision on it, which evidently has worked in the past, but now he's not getting support for whatever reason. I've yet to comment on that. But yeah, just the insidious part is that, again, with the whole getting the whole darn up, you know, just kind of waiting till the right time, so just now and that. It's the fact, yeah, they keep records, and no doubt a certain Kitty Foxfire would not be amused with certain conversations I've had from the past, but the likes of which, well, fun times is all I'll say. Fun times. Fun I thought I will actually comment on. It happened a day or two before I got permanently muted on 27th of September. Yes, and you know, you won't know the fucking place I did it at. I mean, also what's your the footage here, but the fucking sand casino itself was highly ironic, but yeah, we're standing right in front of the entrance. Was I can actually say which exact spot I got permuted on. That fucking entrance to the mage arena, which you can't access if you play, but you can get to the near enough the entrance of it. That's where I got permuted. When I logged back in, that was when I found it. I was permanently muted. Fun. But anyway, so yeah, well that's going on, and obviously he's had his own little problem with that. Yeah, he's kind of given himself an official title of sorts, being the head of esports at Jagex, and Jagex themselves are not fucking happy about that. They're saying, yeah, take this down, or we will pursue, I think, something into legal action And I like, it's kind of like, it's a bit of a poke at fun then, because essentially he's done more of a better job actually doing esports for the PvP scene than the actual fucking official Gielinor herself. And but it's that toxicity. It's a funny one. Like, when you disagree with it, it's easy enough to see it. When it's on your side though, it's, you could see it differently, I suppose. It's like, basically, it's like, you know, if you just kind of just be kind of polite, very civil about it, or just submissive, it's kind of easy just to push your side. When you're not that though, you actually really push it hard, it gets people riled up and ready kind of to take action. Then you say, oh, you're fucking toxic, and then look at how disgusting these people are, fucking just terrible, and that, you know, play the moral card. Because if you're playing the moral card yourself, then you're easy to dismiss. When you're not, that's when they play it. A little bit of a nice playbook of sorts, I guess you could say. Also, that fucking camera's moved again. Damn. Alright. But yeah, that's where it seems to be a current issue, so I guess he could probably just be, you know, head of esports at Jagex or Lagex or it's something like that, you know, just a one little letter change, and then suddenly all the lawyers will fuck off on that, because then it's like it's treading on a fine line, but you're not quite taking the piss, so to speak. But who the fuck knows on that? But anywho, while that's all ongoing, yeah, the more recent news, yeah, Mod Tyrant, he's been issuing recent widespread ban to hordes of gold farms, like really going in hard. And where essentially what he's trying to do is like, alright, we understand the Venezuelan crisis is, you know, that's something that's unfortunate, but it's the whole thing, it's taking a huge impact. Because, you know what I think it is? Alright. Nobody's really commented on this, but I have my own speculation on this. So, what I reckon is happening in Venezuela, it started off with just say a few dozen people, like, okay, I like this game, you know, it's like, kind of, maybe there may be a few, like, saw early on that, oh, it's actually quite valuable, and if I do this for money and that, it'll be really fucking good. And this would have been around the point when currency was still a nice 78 pence per million GP. I was like, okay, look in my mind, if I do so much, you know, this hour, just say making roughly a little million and a half, say for the good ones, you know, if I do this 12 hours a day, 18 millions, that could easily get me something like about $12, which is pish for a normal salary. Over there though, where that average salary right now, I think it's about something could slightly over $3 a month. It's like, yeah, something like that. That's the $12 a day times, we'll just say 30 if you give yourself like a day break, something, and that here and there. Yeah, something like that boosts up to a very nice $360, over 100 times as much as, you know, like, I mean, this is obviously the average from the minimum sort of salary, so maybe doctors they might earn a more tidy sum, somewhere around $20 to $50, but it's still pish. You know? It's like, yeah, that's how Gold Farm is really popular. You know what I reckon's happened? Is that people have caught wind of this and that. A few dozen, 1 year turns to like 1,000 or two, the next year after that, turns to 10k plus, and probably right now, it'll be tens of thousands, I guarantee you. You know, I don't know exactly, could be 20, could be 30, 40, maybe even 50,000. But there's a lot of Venezuelans who are interested, and I wonder if that number will grow even higher. I wonder. You know, as the situation gets ever more dire, you know, they'll start really pushing hard to doing all the gold farm activities. Because remember what I said about Sand Casino? They're there to serve at the whims of those who have the money to buy it. That being the stakers. And the occasional person who wants to buy a lot of, you know, expensive stuff. They're there to serve their needs. And there's a lot of demand for it, they're there to meet the supply. You know, create the supply as well. So it's like, that's essentially it. If you get rid of that, because I do believe there's a lot of people who do real world trade and that, casually or, you know, extensively, who knows. I don't know if it's the majority though. They're saying like, right now it's almost half of that. I don't know if it's that much. It's very hard to confirm. Like, I've never done it myself, because my principle is that if I buy it, it devalues everything that I've done. It's like, even if it's just like 1%, like that 1%'s never earned legitimately, and nah. You know, I had to rebuild from scratch when I willingly threw away my entire bank of 250 mil, but then now I've got about just over 2 billion, which is a nice little number to round up on, so I guess there's that. You know, so truth be told, it's not too bad as far as what I'm saying. It's just, it's easy enough to ignore, but then when all the items start crashing, this is a valid concern some people have, particularly with Nightmare, it's like, you have to wonder what is the huge impact that both bots and Venezuelans, gold farmers combined, have. Because I feel like a lot of people seem to justify it in the sense that it's, oh, this is just happening in all kind of RPGs, just gotta go to deal with it. It's like, fucking target the gold buyers! And you can only do so much against gold sellers, but I think this is one way. Either you don't ban them, or you're very lean like what they're doing at the moment. The other way is you go full on fucking hard, give them permanent bans, like, nah. That has its own issues in that, unfortunately, and it's just, nah, you can see where the problems arise. A middle ground solution is possible. And I think it's simple, like some kind of 3-tier system. So first time, you get all the gold that's been bought, not the one that so whatever the amount, say 30 milish and that, say you get rid of any items that are maybe bought, just something that adds up, so you get rid of such and such, maybe compensate them with so much million, and that to get the balance and that. And then you say, okay, we caught you, don't do it again, next time will be much worse. Second time is not banned, although I guess a longer ban would suffice, and that, say a month or something in that, and then just you remove all the gold on their account. No skills being reset, no quests have to be redone, say probably the same thing with the house. And that, though, again, you can get clever, like, say, probably would have to include things like, say, all the fucking coffers and all that stuff, like Nightmare Zone and other places as well, and that, just in case they try to get around that, and just say, if you do it again, you're banned. And it's like, it's a kind of way, like, but here's the thing, what's to stop the people from falsely appealing? It's a good question, actually. I think what you do, if you're there to report a tier 1 or tier 2 one, tier 3, I don't know, likely, but yeah, what you say is that, okay, you're here to appeal this. If you're correct and we've done this mistake, we'll undo it and we'll pretty much, well, I'm guessing, yeah, we'll return the money as is. Though that's, if there's no money, then it shouldn't be the case in that, but evidently they do make mistakes. But if let's just say they do fuck up, like, that's his own thing, because you imagine, oh fuck, returning money, and then it turns out actually, no, they actually were just kind of like, oh fuck. That's how the problem arises, and that, Also, second boss fight arising. Yeah, drama indeed. Oh boy. But yeah, that's the thing, and I find that if you were to be caught doing a false appeal, you upgrade that to a second tier. So instead of, like, just say the amount that was bought, you remove all the gold. Or I guess in the rare case, if it's just money that's just straight up bought and there's hardly any fuck all value, you can just immediately escalate to a third tier, because it's not really going to have much any value and that. Or tier 2, that, they still want a chance there, and then if they fuck it up, and it's like, no, the appeal's been correct, no, the strike has been correct, and that, removing it, then just get banned. I don't know if that's too risky for them, though. It's, yeah, hard to say, though, in that, very hard to say. But, yeah, I think that's the thing in general. It's just like, holy Christ, there's a lot going on in regards to that front, it's just, as I say, at least he's been trying to target all these gold farms, but I don't know if is that just a kind of flair move, like, just to kind of show, oh, this is me, kind of, what do you call it, virtue signalling, kind of, like, you're doing it not really because you believe in it, rather just kind of say, oh, look, I'm doing stuff, and then once the message has been gotten across, or enough results have been satisfactory, you then just fuck off, and then there you go. But, hey ho. Alright, anywho, yeah, this is the finale coming up, so, okay, I reckon this ought to be a nice little spot to finish up. Alrighty then. So, I'll wager that, yeah, this should be near enough done, and yeah, when we get to this bit here, yeah, alright, I'll see you then, folks, for the finale. Till then, folks.